If you've been struggling to achieve your goals, I believe this video will provide a useful perspective that will, even if ever so slightly, help you move towards a better future. My name is Sava, and in this video I'll teach you about the 3 levels of achieving your goals that you might find yourself stuck on right now. I will also give you 3 exercises and 3 pieces of advice that will hopefully help you escape the levels that you're stuck on. The last one, level 3, is a bit out there, you could say. It's not very conventional advice, but I still believe that this is probably the most important thing you can ever hear and you can ever apply to your life. So stay until the end to make sure you can identify which level you're stuck on right now and take appropriate action. I gathered these ideas over the course of my own fitness and self-improvement journey, but I believe they can benefit anybody struggling to achieve goals in their overall life. So let's begin. Over the last year, I got in pretty good shape. I finished my finals, started making YouTube content, but most importantly, I did what I thought was impossible for me. I started actually achieving the goals that I set for myself. And here are the 3 mindset shifts that I went through to escape the things that were keeping me stuck. Level 1 is you don't start. Okay, this might sound obvious, but hear me out. I don't mean just never ever starting to work on your goals. What I mean is being stuck in endless optimization, research, and planning mode instead of actually getting your reps in. This is what I call the optimization trap or active procrastination. I actually made a separate video discussing this in a bit more detail, and you can check it out in the card above. I was stuck on this level for a long time myself. Not really in my fitness journey, I don't think, but mostly in content. I spent a lot of time researching what type of videos to do, how to do them, what's the best posting strategy, and whatever else. As a result, I spent nearly a year just contemplating without actually ever achieving anything. Just like you might right now, I feared failure. We like to see research, planning, and optimization as productive, but it's actually just comfortable. And you know, it can be productive in some cases, but there's a time and a place. Usually we're just sort of fooling ourselves. There's this idea in neuroscience that thinking about doing something provokes very similar responses in our brain as actually doing it. That means we get the satisfaction of achieving our goals and getting results without actually doing anything, which is why you often find yourself doing it more and Another reason you might find yourself doing this, which is not talked about nearly as often, is because you just don't like the answer that you keep finding. And to that, the only thing I can say, well, you're probably not gonna find a better answer than that. And to that, I'll say, well, you're probably not gonna find a better answer than you already have. And even if you will find an answer that is more satisfying to you, well, there is a reason it took you so long to find it. But it's actually usually more important to just start getting your reps in, to start practicing whatever is the thing that you're trying to achieve. Go to the gym with no concrete plan in mind. You know, you'll figure it out as you go, and you will find a system and a split or whatever that works best for you, that works best for your current circumstances. Imperfect action is always better than perfect inaction. I know it might sound obvious right now as you listening to it, but you don't often catch yourself in time on being stuck in this endless optimization, planning, research mode. Best advice I can give here is do research when truly only necessary. You've probably watched enough best and how-to videos. You just need to go and use that in practice. So here's the exercise that I want you to do. I want you to start consciously catching yourself on actually falling into the optimization trap. Whenever you find yourself researching a topic, let's say a gym split, ask yourself, is this knowledge truly fundamental and necessary to achieving my current goal? Like for your fitness progress, it will be how to track my nutrition or how to progressively overload. Ask yourself if you already know that information or if it's actually something new that you're learning. And well, if you already know it, then why are you watching this? Just go and do your best to apply this knowledge in action. Get your reps in. Start practicing. You need to be willing to fail and learn. Otherwise, you'll just endlessly be stuck in the loop of consumption and comfort. This actually transitions us perfectly into level 2, and that is that you lack true motivation. And before you click off, I know you might be thinking this is not about you, especially, you know, if you're watching this video trying to improve yourself, trying to achieve your goals. But even then, I believe that you can still benefit from the advice that I'm about to give. Achieving your goals requires big change. It's going to be hard, and it's going to require a lot of hard work, a lot of consistent hard work. You're going to have to work hard almost every day if you truly want it. The reason you have been struggling to achieve your goals is that deep down, you're truly comfortable with where you are right now. And comfort is your biggest enemy in life. You're just not ready to give up that comfort and invest in a better future. You can make things easier using systems and habits. That's actually what I advocate for and what I preach in almost all of my videos. But it's only going to make things easier, but not easy. See, systems and habits help you automate and simplify some tasks that you would otherwise need to spend your focus, attention, and willpower to perform. Like, for example, eating healthy. But it's not just going to be a magic fix. I recently watched this video on the topic of comfort and mediocrity, interestingly enough. And the idea of the video boils down to that mediocrity and averageness that we all fear so much actually stems from being comfortable. Every time you choose to stay with the familiar instead of the new, unfamiliar, and uncomfortable, you're actively choosing mediocrity. Every minute you spend not working towards a goal is another minute that you spend miserable, uncomfortable, and unfulfilled. I was unconsciously stuck here for a while. I remember I started gym in my fitness journey sort of when I was around 16, but I didn't really achieve anything and I didn't really get any good progress until I was 18 or 19. What really helped me push over the edge and actually truly lock in, that was last year in February, so February of 2025, kind of marks my lock-in arc. The biggest motivator for me, and it really changed me in that moment, is one day looking at myself in the mirror and being like truly disgusted with what I saw. Also, another pretty funny story is I remember watching TikTok and I stumbled upon a video from a friend of mine that we, haven't talked in a couple of years. And it was a video of his glow up from the last 6 months of consistent work. And I was so impressed by that because I really remember connecting myself to that friend. I really thought of us as being very similar in terms of we were both kind of chubby growing up. We were both struggling with very similar things in life. So when I saw that, it just gave me such an instant and interesting, weird boost of motivation that I just went in, locked in, and kept consistent. Looking back at it, it's not the best, example for what your motivation might be and should be, but still it's just kind of one of the things. It's not the main thing, but it's one of the things that helped me get the insane motivation to actually start doing it. The main idea and the main takeaway is that it's gonna happen, that you will require willpower and motivation to keep going, to keep consistent. Again, systems and habits help you dearly in this and make it a lot easier in many cases, but they don't always work. What I mean by that is sometimes you will need that willpower and you will need that motivation to make a right decision in the moment. This is why having something to truly motivate you is a must. Like for me in fitness, it was the thought of being more confident and more comfortable in my body. And here's the advice I would give you on how to get out of this level. What you need to do is find a true, deep motivation that will keep you going even if automation fails you, even if systems fail you. Something you can think about this, something that you can imagine that will just spark that giant flame of motivation inside of you. You can do this exercise. Write down a list of goals that you want to achieve next year on a piece of paper, for example. In my case, it's gain 10 pounds of muscle, get to 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, and make my first $1 from this YouTube channel. Pin it up somewhere visible. Maybe put it on the wall or make it your wallpaper on your phone. Whenever you have a choice in front of you, whenever you need to make a decision, think about the concrete goal that you set for yourself. Now, ask yourself, will this benefit or hinder the progress towards this goal? The answer should directly influence the decision you make in the moment. What helped me is creating a sort of point system. So performing a good action would be a +1 point and performing a bad action would be a -1 point. And it just kind of helps you guide your decision when you need motivation the most. And it's not all bad to make a quote-unquote bad decision. With this point system, it just means that tomorrow you're just gonna have to work twice as hard to get to the same level you would have been if you just made a good choice. Just remember, I have never seen a person who leaves their comfort zone not succeed, and conversely, I've never seen a person who stays in their comfort zone truly achieve their goals. And now we have come to level 3. Again, this idea is a bit out there, but I believe that this one point can be the difference between you staying where you are and you achieving the goals that you set for yourself. Level 3 is you are not delusional. And let me explain what I mean by that. Your identity needs to be of that person that you want to be in the future. You need to truly believe that you can achieve any goal that you set for yourself given enough time. You need to believe that failure is not an option. The biggest success is built on a sort of a gamble. And honestly, sometimes the biggest success is built on borderline delusion. That's exactly where I want you to be. You need to undergo a complete identity switch from thinking that, yes, this might happen or this might be the result, to I can genuinely not see myself failing this task. You need to change your perception and the results will follow. I'd say it's a lot easier to do once you have a bit of credibility with yourself. So if you've already proved to yourself that if you stick to something long enough that you can achieve it. For me, it was my fitness journey. After I, got in shape, I really proved to myself that I am capable of basically anything that life throws at me, because a year ago I thought that this progress was practically impossible for me and that I was like too lazy or it was too hard for me. And since I proved to myself that I can actually achieve my goals, well, that just made me so much more confident, and interestingly enough made it easier for me to achieve the new goals that I set. Throughout this journey, what helped me is believing I was the shit. You genuinely need to be fucking delusional. Life becomes so much easier that way if you truly believe that you are the best and you cannot fail. But this doesn't mean that you need to disregard common sense. Obviously, don't go into something where you can only fail or where the probability of you succeeding is null. I mean this in a more playful sense, in a more of a self-belief sense. Okay, so here's the exercise that I want you to do to escape this level. Imagine the perfect version of yourself. And imagine that you've achieved everything you needed in the next 2, 5, 10 years. Imagine that the only thing you need to do is just maintain. Do what the perfect version of you will. Act as if you've already proven yourself to be the man. Act as if you've already proved that you can do it. Create your routine around the idea that you already have everything that you want. And do what your ideal version would have. Alright, so these were the 3 mindset shifts that if you go through, I will guarantee you will start seeing more progress towards achieving your goals, and you will see a lot more success in life. Hopefully you could identify yourself to be stuck on one of the levels that I've talked about, and now you have the tools to start escaping it. Hope you learned something new, and I was able to help you on your self-improvement journey. Or at the very least, maybe I provided a new perspective on life for you. I believe that you can do whatever you set out to do. Love you. Stay strong. Dude, the weather has been so good recently. I love just sitting outside. Dude,